Okay, so you ever have one of those moments? You decide, that's it, starting tomorrow, I'm a completely new person. You're gonna wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, you'll learn Mandarin, you'll only eat kale, and then, tomorrow actually comes and crickets. What is it about that huge, grand plan that just never seems to stick?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is that? Why do the biggest, most exciting plans for self-improvement so often just completely fall apart? It feels like we're always waiting for this big lightning strike of motivation to hit us, but it never does.
Well, let's get into that. I think the biggest reason this happens is something we can call the all or nothing trap. It's this idea we all have that for change to be real, it has to be this massive, dramatic event right from the get-go.
And this really lays it out perfectly, right? On one side, you have what we imagine, this total health overhaul, mastering a new career overnight. But the reality, where real change actually starts, it's a short walk after dinner. It's reading just a few pages a day. The problem is, we tend to dismiss these little things because they don't feel epic. So we wait for that big moment that, almost never comes.
Okay, so we get overwhelmed by trying to do too much at once. That makes sense. But what is it about the small actions that makes them stick so much better? Is there something going on in our brains that makes them more effective?
Oh, for sure. It comes down to something called habit automation. Basically, your brain is kind of lazy, in a good way. It's always looking for shortcuts to save energy. So when you do something over and over again, your brain goes, okay, I see what's happening here, and turns that action into an automatic routine. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to think through every step, right? You just do it. That's habit automation. And this is how it works, step by step. First, you have to make a conscious choice to do something new. That's step one. But the real secret sauce is step two, consistent repetition. Just doing it again and again and again. That's how you train your brain to take it off your mental to-do list and turn it into something that just happens automatically. That's how a habit is born.
Wow. Okay, so this is way more than just a cool brain hack, isn't it? It feels deeper. Like, if these actions become automatic, does that mean they start to change who we actually are? Do they shape our identity?
That's the perfect question, because this is where the science gets really interesting. It starts to feel a bit like philosophy. And this quote nails it. Each small action becomes a vote for the type of person someone is becoming. It's not just something you do. Every time you perform that habit, you're casting a vote for a future version of yourself. You're building evidence for a new identity.
And you can see this in so many areas of life, right? You don't suddenly become a writer one day. You become a writer by, writing a little bit every day. You become a musician by practicing regularly. It's the repetition that builds the identity. Your habits are literally constructing who you are. Okay, I'm with you on the logic, but here's the thing that I think trips everyone up. A 5-minute walk, reading 2 pages of a book, it just doesn't feel like you're doing anything, In the moment, it feels so small, so insignificant. It's hard to stay motivated.
And that is a 100% valid feeling. The results are slow. That's the hard part. The immediate payoff for one small action is basically zero. This is where we have to completely change how we look at it. We're not playing for today's result. We're playing for the long game. The real power isn't in the single action. It's in the accumulated effect over time.
I mean, just look at the math here. It's kind of mind-blowing. 10 minutes a day, that feels like nothing. You can find that anywhere. But do that every day for a year, and suddenly you spent over 60 hours on something. 60 hours! That's enough time to actually develop a real skill. That's what compounding does.
All right, I'm sold. This is super motivating. So for everyone listening who's thinking, okay, I want to do this, what's the big takeaway? Where do we actually start? What's the very first step?
If there's one thing to remember, it's this. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Forget about the 2-hour gym session that you'll do once and then quit. The goal is just to show up every single day. Even if it's for 5 minutes, you're working with your brain's programming, not fighting against it. And what does that actually look like? It looks like this. Super simple stuff. A 5-minute walk. Reading 2 pages of a book before bed. Choosing water instead of soda with one meal. These aren't intimidating goals. They're starting points. They're designed to build a little momentum so you can start winning.
So I guess the final thought is this. We really need to stop thinking of these habits as small, because they're not. A small habit is actually a massive thing. It's a building block. It's a quiet vote for your future that when you cast it over and over again, builds an entire life. Your whole life is really just unfolding one of these tiny, seemingly insignificant steps at a time.